Hello, hello. My name's Cy Leslie, and welcome to the Gers TV, sponsored tonight by the Black Bull Bar in Cambuslang. Tonight's guests we have Lewis, Gordy, and we have Jay. How are we doing, guys?
Not very great, to be honest, Si. Rangers have let me down. Once
Ah,
again,
true.
as per usual. No shock there, no surprise. Some a wee bit better news came out literally within the last sort of half an hour or so that Igamani's probably going to be away, that his release clause has been met, 10.5 million.
Yeah. So that'll probably be the main conversation for tonight, and obviously the European tie tomorrow night. Gordy, how you, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, same as Lewis, but a little bit downcast at the moment. It's a sad state of affairs after, literally 3 months after new owners, 2.5 months after a new manager, and the only bright spark in the week, if you like, is the fact that we're selling a player. So yeah, lots to talk about, and yeah, we'll see.
Jay, how's things, mate?
I'm fed up, boys. I'm fed up. I feel like it's just the same thing every week at the minute. But good news about the Hamza deal as well, because we need to get that disgrace out of the club. You cannot refuse to play for this football club. Get him gone. See you later.
So what's the update on that, guys? I've been setting up. Is that official, or is it still to be confirmed?
It's not been confirmed by any top outlets, but it is. Yeah, the news is making its way around.
STV have came out and so has Chris Jack as well. The only ones left
Yeah.
to actually announce are probably Rangers officially.
So, guys, I'm going to just quickly do some shares here now. If I can give your opinions on that, do you think he has to go? And I'll be happy with the fee. To me, it's a no-brainer. He's got to go. But the big thing is that we're getting a lot of money for a guy we got for reasonably pennies.
Well, I believe we paid around 1.8 million for him. So, anything above the 5 million mark, you're quite happy with that. He's a player that he's definitely got that sort of raw potential there. There's definitely something there. I think he could probably go to Lille and do well if he fixes the attitude. Anyways, he can definitely do well over there. I'm very happy with the fee that we're getting at. It's a release clause that I didn't even know was there. To be honest, I don't think many folk knew it was there. I didn't actually think we were going to get any more than say 4 or 5 million for him, considering Russell Martin came out and pretty much said in his press conference after the game on Sunday that he pretty much refused to play. So I was quite shocked when I seen 10.5 million. But I'm very happy with that, and I do agree. If you refuse to play for the club, you should never play for them again.
I feel like he must have known the bid was on the table before the game, and that's why he refused to play. Because it seems quite soon after the game that we've had this bid in and we've accepted it.
Aye, so that was the chat last week. The chat was that he knew that the bid that came in and had been told it was coming in, and then it hadn't been accepted. So the player already knew about it. But after that, he's already agreed to play in the squad.
He came out. Well, Russell Martin came out and confirmed that there was a bid through the week from Lille. Well, we never said from Lille, but we all know there was a bid from Lille through the week, that got rejected. Hamza Igamani's definitely seen that and went, "I'm not happy with this. I'm not wanting to play. I'm wanting to force a move out." Which, if he's wanting to move away, fair enough, but do it the right way.
Yeah, apparently that bid was a loan bid, though, wasn't it? Like it was a loan rather than
probably going to be a loan to buy right now.
Yeah.
I'm just coming in and say.
Oh, there you go.
No, I was waiting for yourself and Jay to finish there. So I've said it before on the show, say it again. I don't actually, yeah, potential's there. You can see the potential, absolutely. But I just don't get the hype around the man, to be perfectly honest, right? And, yeah, to get 10.5, if it turns out it is 10.5 million, then I'm absolutely over the moon with that because A, he seems to have a bad attitude. B, he's not scored a lot of goals. He played 8 games in a row last season without scoring, etc. Yeah, he scored the goal at Parkhead, which is a fabulous goal. So there's bits and pieces there. You see the potential, but to get £10.5 million for a player, if it's true that's causing trouble, doesn't want to play, and it's based on potential rather than current ability, go for it. Let's do it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, well, this attitude with Hamza Igamani, we've not really seen anything like it, especially from him since he's joined. He joined last year and he seemed happy. I did actually think he was playing quite well. For a striker, yes, I do agree. His goal output wasn't great. Scored a few crucial goals, of course. Scored against Tottenham in the Europa League. Scored a couple against Kilmarnock in the league. Then scored at Parkhead. Yeah, his goal output, as I said, wasn't great for a striker. But there was definitely that raw potential. I did rate him. I rated him as a player. I think out of the three options that we have or had, Danilo, Dessers and Hamza Agamani, I would have probably favoured Hamza Agamani for the number 9 slot. But I don't know about you guys, but I did actually rate him as a player, and I just don't think he was a Rangers player, though. That's the thing. I think if he was going to go and do well, I think it was going to be at another club, unfortunately.
I've got two views on it. I'm going to give the two views that might not be what everybody wants to hear, but I'll give my opinion. We always try and give honest opinions on the channel, that's one thing. First of all, let's go into the facts. Before he came to the club, he was relatively unknown, or almost unknown completely in the football world, and Rangers Football Club made him. However, the boy's been fantastic, I think, when he's been here. Now, what's happened at the weekend, I was really angry about it at the time. First of all, Russell Martin, who I don't have a lot of time for, I've never had away for that. His managerial ability should have been a question in a big headline at the weekend, and he throws a player under the bus. And the reason I'm saying he throws him under the bus is when you say that in a live interview that the player refused to play. First of all, you devalue the market. Who's want to buy a player who doesn't want to play for a club? And the way you deal with it is the way Walter Smith, Joel Wallace, Graham Souness would have dealt with it. You don't mention it, and you take that to the dressing room later on, and you give them a bit up the arse or whatever you want to say, and you deal with it that way, and you get on with it. But to me, it was a coward's way out. The manager done that because the whole headline after the game was, Agaman doesn't want to play. It wasn't, Rangers don't play. Rangers play with no striker. Rangers play with no passion. Rangers play with no tactics, and Rangers play with no style. The manager used the get out clause of the player. Now, if the player had been shown that attitude during the day and everything else, we would have accepted it if he wasn't on the bench, and that was the reason after the game, you were told. But to do that in an interview, I just think it's completely wrong. Everything at the club just now, standards wise, is wrong. It showed you on TV. I watched it in Brighton. When you watched the Rangers team bus coming off, players coming off the bus, none of them looked professional. The manager looked scruffy. The only person in the whole team bus that looked like a Ranger was the actual driver, the coach driver, with his shirt and tie on, well presented. A couple of weeks ago, I was in corporate, I won't mention who, but a guy watches your channel, and I spoke to him about this, and I said, what would happen if you turned up at Ibrox for your job tonight and you were dressed like Russell Martin? And his words were, I would be sent home and not allowed to work. So Martin's taking the coward's way out here. I don't hide for that. I personally don't like Russell Martin as a manager. I've never changed that opinion. There's a way of doing things, and a really good manager wouldn't have mentioned that in the press conference. He wouldn't have used that as an excuse, and he would have took that to the dressing room later on and dealt with it. So we've now got a player being sold, in my opinion, probably for less money than he would have been worth because he devaluing him, and it's took the dairy away for the fact that the manager's tactics were horseshit at the weekend.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, I've never rated Russell Martin's personality. I don't like his arrogance, to be honest. I don't think he's got anything to back up his arrogance. I mean, he failed drastically at Southampton. I mean, you can say he got promoted to the Premier League, but he never succeeded with them. They were the second worst Premier League side. He didn't really succeed at Swansea or MK Dons either. So to say that he's a fraud, I'd be lying, because we knew what we were getting ourselves into when we hired him. I mean, he's a manager with less than a 50% win rate as a manager. So
and that's getting worse.
yeah, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse whilst he's been here at Rangers. So he's not doing himself any favours, and he's not doing the club any favours either.
Okay, I think you're right, Si. You said yourself, Lewis, as well. I think that, the problem Russell Martin had in the first instance was that half the fan base at least were against his appointment, and the other half, with what's happened in the last 3 months, are probably going that way as well. Not gonna say- But you're absolutely right, Simon, with that. The big focus on Sunday afternoon should have been why we didn't win the game. The tactics, no striker for the first 60 minutes, whatever. Never seen anything like it for a Rangers team in my life. But he did so, yeah, he's got a habit of doing that. You thought after the Motherwell game, he came out and slaughtered the players. It must have been Igamani. He must have been, I don't think he played that game, but he must have been talking meaning him as well. And yeah, I think Russell Martin's actions, his behaviours, and his words are turning the 50% of the fan base that might have said give him time against him as well. And it's a really sad state of affairs.
Yeah, and back to the actual point he's made, sorry, was that Agamani. I'm a big fan of Cyril Dessers, and I hope this inspires Cyril Dessers to stay at the club. some of our fan bases, we've heard about the toxic fan base, the internet loyal, the keyboard warriors. The way that man's been treated with a small section of the support, this is a guy that's never acted in that way. He's been a professional, even when he's dropped, when he's been criticised, he's been laughed, he's been mocked. His goal at Old Trafford shows how good a player he is. This is his chance now to get back into the team and be the main striker for our club, and I hope he takes it. But we're supporting to remember that the best strikers in the world miss chances, but they keep their head up, and that's one thing that Dessers has got. Hopefully he's going to be fit quickly, because the injury isn't as bad as we first thought. Man's gone. We all knew he was going. I mean, to look to the future with us. But we have been linked with other players as well, and this might be the key to getting the boy that played with Aberdeen, Majovic. Is it called Majovic? Miovski. Who's a good player. We need to look to the future on this. The big thing for me is, more importantly, was the tactics at the weekend. There's so many things that I would like answered that I don't understand. At one point in the game Sunday, at one point in the game we had Mickey Moore and, was it Curtis, both playing at left wing? No, Mickey Moore. Was it Asgard? Asgard it was. Asgard went on and came on, and they both played in the left wing because they played in their positions. And you think to yourself, we don't have a centre forward here, and players are playing all over the park. They're completely lost. Another point I get laughed at last season, I made this, was it a big player for St Mirren, Gogic. I said he would be a great Rangers player. No, as a first team player, but he come in. See, right now, currently, he's a better defender than anybody that we've got at Ibrox. I stand by that.
Agreed. Yeah, agree with that.
I know. Well, I mean, I can't really. I'm not going to slaughter Jigga too much. I do think Jigga is still our best centre half. As much as he made a crucial mistake against Bruges, I still stand by the fact that he looks very, very solid. And
he looks promising. Yeah.
Yeah, promising. I mean, and I think it's a shame that it's only a loan deal, because he seemed to be doing quite well at Wolves, and I think even Wolves fans were surprised that he was going out on loan. And yeah, I mean, Red Star Belgrade fans I've seen online as well quite miss him at the club. So he's clearly a solid defender. He's still young. He's not old at all. So I thought, as you said, they're promising. I don't see him staying at the club on a permanent basis at all. But yeah, I still stand by the fact that he's a solid centre half. I think everybody's human. I think everybody's going to make their mistakes. I think it's a shame that he made his mistake in the way that he did and in the game that he did. But I still stand by the fact that he's probably one of our best, if not our best centre half.
And then the other side of that is Ferdinand is still young and raw, but I hope I'm wrong with this one, but Max Aarons I cannot see being a success at Rangers. The guy looks out of depth.
Yeah. He can't handle the pressure. You can clearly see that. You know, it's getting to him. Every time he gets a ball, he plays it backwards. You know, he hardly plays a forward pass. And he's just not an upgrade on Tav. So you may as well put Tav there. You know, someone who's used to playing in these games anyway, you know, and has played in these games for the last decade. So I'd rather have him there.
Max Aarons came out and actually said in an interview that he plays better when the pressure's off him. I mean,
that's exactly what we don't want.
The pressure's the wrong club. 24/7 at Rangers. I mean, you've got to question the recruitment, I think, from Kevin Thelwell and even Daniel Purdy as well. You've got to question the recruitment.
Just what you're saying it, Lewis, that should be one of the questions in an interview when you're getting players. Do you realise that every game's a pressure game?
I mean, we're looking at, we spent at least 3-4 months looking for a new manager, and I don't think Russell Martin is the best that we could have gotten. Russell Martin sold him a very good game, and he's trying to sell us a very good game as well, and it's just not showing it. He's said that he plays a very high press attacking style football with a lot of interchanges in the wings and sort of even in the midfield as well. And we've not seen that at all. We've not seen anything like that from him at all.
No, we're slow and sluggish.
Yep, exactly.
And the other thing is as well, we just don't look dangerous at all when we're attacking.
And it's the same.
The players are confused. You know, the players are confused. They don't really know what they're doing on the pitch. You know, they don't really know whether to go forward or to stay back. They don't know whether to press high up the pitch or to let them come out and try and set traps. I feel like the players are confused, and it's clearly showing on the pitch. We're weak going forward. Seems to be no creativity, and at the back we're so fragile. Any ball into the box, I feel like they've got a big chance to score. You know, and it's things that Russell Martin needs to fix. But going back to the point about Kevin Thelwell, actually, how much of this blame were you going to put all on Russell Martin, or is the recruitment under Kevin Thelwell also part of the problem? Because Kevin Thelwell would have been brought in by Patrick Stewart, the CEO. Patrick Stewart got the job in November 2024. So that would have been a month into the talks with the new owners. I can't see the new owners having much had much say in that appointment of Patrick Stewart. So if Russell Martin's a problem, they appointed the wrong manager. But then do we look at Kevin Thurwell and think, well, the recruitment's not been right? Most of the signs have been from south of the border, but clearly the quality of and value for money isn't there. We've been through this market a number of times. So then do you look at Kevin Thurwell? Well, who appointed Kevin Thurwell? Patrick Stewart. Is he good enough CEO to be running this football club? Because there seems to be a lot of issues, not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch at the minute, that needs to be fixed. But is he the right man to do it, or are they only going to say, "Well, look,
I'll come in with this quickly because you might not have seen it. Patrick Stewart has came out and said that he was the main man to appoint Russell Martin, and that's who. Just to cut this your answer to your question quick. That's who I blame for this whole problem. Is Patrick Stewart. I don't think that he is capable of doing the job at Ibrox, and I don't think he's got the passion for it, and I don't think he really cares. If I'm being honest.
I mean, for
I
me,
was
I
when
don't.
we
Sorry.
just no, I was going to say a couple quick points regarding that. I actually think some of the players we brought in seem to be decent players, but the
Yes.
longer they spend with Russell Martin, the less confident and worse they seem to be getting. And I'll give you Gassam, and Ant-Man. Ant-Man came in with his debut and was blustered in that game against Victoria Pilsen.
And he hadn't done a training session before that.
My exact point, yeah. And then, but Russell Martin seems to have he's brought in Rothwell and Aarons, who are clearly his signings. He knows these players, so they're clearly his signings. And they've been, I would say, consistently, apart from Darilo, who I won't get into tonight, they've been our two worst performers so far this season. But they seem to start every game, and it's going to be his downfall. And Patrick Stewart's got a lot to answer for as well.
Well, I think Max Aarons was Max Aarons, whatever you want to say, was a player who showed a lot of potential in his younger days when he was at Norwich. When he went to Bournemouth, he didn't necessarily do much. He went to Valencia on a 6-month loan deal, did okay, but he's not actually been at a top tier club who's used to winning things. He's not been at a top tier club. He's not had that sort of mentality.
No expectations.
I think Max, I think when he came in, I was pleased. I thought he's a very good player. I think right back's a position that we need. Well, we've needed since Dujon Sterling's injury against Bilbao. So again, we've had plenty of time to look for a new right back. Is Max Aarons the best we could have gotten? Is Joe Rothwell the best midfielder we could have gotten? We were linked with the likes of obviously Lennon Miller and Josh Milligan, who now plays for Hibs, even at the centre half as well. I mean, we were linked with Nasser Giga and we've got Nasser Giga and Manny Fernandez. I mean, we could have. There's better options out there that I think we could have gotten as well. Because I mean, centre half once again, it's a position that we've known that we need to upgrade for ages, for months.
Well, we haven't replaced Connor Golson. We've
not replaced Connor Golson. We've not got a big tall sort of fucking pardon the language.
This is normally a family show. Remember,
we've not.
I think that's a yellow card.
Just back. I actually agree with Gordy. That was one of the points I was going to make and I forgot. Is I actually think if we had a good manager, the recruitment's not been too bad. But the two players that you mentioned, I'll go to Rothwell. Joe Rothwell is not a better player than Raskin, and it upsets the balance of the team having the two of them in the team. And I'm not convinced that Rothwell's even fit to play football. He doesn't look fit. He looks overweight, and he looks slow and sluggish. Again, the word sluggish. And I don't think he's capable of fitting into that team. And it's made Raskin a worse player, and it's upset the midfield. The midfield's a shambles at times.
But even Rothwell has come out and said himself that he's not been playing well. You know, he knows he's not been playing well. We can all see that he's not been playing well. So why does Russell Martin continue to put him in the starting 11 every single week? Because we haven't got time for players to get up to speed and try and get to their best form whilst whilst we're trying to win
games. This is my worry. Right? I don't watch a lot of English football, but apparently this is what he done with Southampton and other clubs. He played favourites, and as Gordy alluded to, these are guys that he picked. These are no the coaches or the scouts that picked him. These are his signings, and he's playing them because it's loyalty and the old pals act. It doesn't work.
I don't think.
I can't remember. I so far this season 9 games, and I think we are, and I've not seen Rothwell have had one good game.
Well, he's also not played 90 minutes. He's not played a full game yet.
I can't even remember a single piece of play. Well, apart, I think it was a free kick against I think maybe Dundee at home when he hit post. I think that's all I can remember. Joe Rothwell doing this season so far is one free kick. I think he hit the post. That's all I
I
can
mean,
honestly,
do.
genuinely.
I do.
That's all I can remember.
I think he's probably, now I could be wrong with this man, but I think he would probably have been a good signing. He's the right signing at the wrong time. I think if he'd have got him a couple of years ago, he might have been a decent player for us. But I just don't see this one working.
I do think I don't think Joe Rothwell's a bad player at all. I think he was brought in for one reason. He's doing that, but he's not doing it well. He's been brought in to slow down games and to sort of dictate it, and I think he's doing it in the wrong games. I think he's better suited to when we're playing against sort of teams that are going to play a sort of high press, a sort of strong attack, very fast football. I think he's one of those players. If he needs to slow down the game, he will slow down the game, and even I think we've seen at Bournemouth as well. He can speed up games and sort of fasten it up a bit. So I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think, as you said, I think probably right signing, wrong time, to be honest. And as we've said before, he's too similar to Raskin. I think it's probably a pointless signing, to be honest, because Rothwell's not going to leave, and I don't think Raskin's going to leave anyways. Especially not this window. So
Well, Raskin get put into the Belgian national team for his aggression and his ball winning ability. That's what I think anyway. And the way he done that in the last year at Ibrox, and then we go and replace that position basically with Joe Rothwell, who's doing none of them.
Yeah, but the fact that he's also, 30 years old, it doesn't make sense for the club to do it, in terms of their clear strategy for player trading. You've got a player here who's got 2 years left in his deal, who we really want to sign a new deal this summer, so, leading into the World Cup, because that is where the money's going to be at. If he's playing every game for us in that number 6, makes it to the Belgian squad for the World Cup, plays for
Value increases.
The value increases. So why are we looking to remove that out of the team for a 30-year-old who's at the back end of his career, who clearly is not fit enough to be playing? I don't know what's happened to him in terms of his fitness, but why would we do that? It doesn't make any sense on any level, and it's not creating that value that Russell Martin's trying to create on the football pitch either. So for me, he is one of the first people that I would say needs to be out of the team for a period, and then start bringing them in to games and later on in games when we're actually winning, and then he can control and maybe dictate the tempo of games towards the last 30 minutes of it, not try and do it from the start. I mean, I thought he was brought in to help in those games against the low block, like your Dundees, etc., to be able to, do that playmaking role from deep, find those balls over the top. But I'm not really seeing that at all, So if he's not doing that, what's he in the team for?
Yeah. I mean, the last point I'll make on the game at the weekend was the defence now. We've spoken about this for weeks, and I'm going to go back over it. We don't have a regular defence yet. It's different players every week. And zonal marking, in my opinion, does not work for these players. They're all over the place. Nobody's marking anybody with set pieces. And we look to be creating a bigger danger. See, when any team plays the ball in against us, the biggest danger is when the ball comes back out. We seem to not get ball out. We seem to give a better ball out to the attacking team than the attacking team could play. And also, lastly on this, when we're having set pieces like corners, that's when teams are breaking up the park and scoring against us. I genuinely think we're all over the place when it comes to the set pieces, and especially the zonal marking and our corners. I really don't like it. Anybody want to come in?
All over the place. Yeah, I'd agree and say even one more as well. Is that how often did we lose goals by a simple ball through the middle? And the
two seasons now, 2 seasons every week.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing. And then we all see it coming. It was 2 games in a row, Bruges, and then Sunday against St Mirren there. A simple ball through the middle. Our defenders are too scared to make a challenge. They get bullied off the ball by a St Mirren striker. Happened to Kelly twice last season as well. Bullied off the ball, and the guy goes on and scores. Good finish. Don't take it away from the boy. The good finish. But that should never have been a goal. That should never have been a goal. And it's the same goals we're losing week in, week out. It's the same at corners week in, week out. We still do this, every man behind the ball. But we were getting beat 3-1 by Bruges on last Tuesday night. Their corner, we've got 11 men in the box defending. It's the same week in, week out.
It's the same boring style of defending, and it doesn't work. The method that the definition of madness or insanity is continually making the same mistake and doing it over and over again. He did change it to 3 at the back when it was late, and I thought that was a lot. I thought we looked a wee bit more comfortable anyway, but there's a lot better set up the three at the back with the correct players, this might be the future for us this season. But you need to get 3 good defenders playing in that position. Thoughts on that?
I know. Well, I mean, as you were talking about the 3 back, he came out in his press conference after the game as sort of match reaction. He came out and complimented the players' sort of energy and willingness to move the ball. So yeah, I don't actually think there was much to compliment really in the second half. I think he's sort of sugarcoating it a bit. I think the only really players that I can compliment are actually, funnily enough, James Tavernier and Finlay Curtis, who came as soon as he came on, 2 minutes after he comes on, he
What a
scores goal
strike.
and then gets another shot on target. We all think it's 2-1, boom. But he came out and said that Finlay Curtis is very reliable. I don't think we should be relying on an 18-year-old boy when we've got plenty of experienced players in the squad who just aren't cutting it.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's hard to, you can't disagree with any of that. Russell Martin seems to, he has got a strange habit of criticising the players straight after the game at the weekend, and then before the European game, saying that they're brilliant and praising them. And it seems to be a very odd way of doing things, in my opinion.
He's criticised the fans at times. He's criticised the players. He's criticised. The only person I don't know who's been criticised by him is himself.
I mean, there's a lot of players that we can criticise. I mean, you've got obviously Rothwell, even Diamande, even your centre half, Tavernier, Max Aarons, whoever you want to sort of criticise. But one of the players that we can't criticise really is Lyle Cameron, to be honest. And I think it's just a shame that we've not actually seen enough of him this season. To be honest,
I would say Cameron and Curtis. Curtis has been brilliant when he's come in.
As well, Finlay Curtis as well, the young boy coming in, quite sort of unproven in a way. I mean, we've seen spots of him last season at Old Trafford and even the game before that against who was it, Fraserburgh. So
but what does this tell you though about the players that are doing well? We've got Lyle Cameron, who's got experience playing in this league, and you've got Finlay Curtis, who obviously grew up supporting a club, loves the club, and is passionate about the success of the football club. These are the kind of players that we're now raving about, but we should be getting more of them into the squad. Where's Connor Barron? What's happened to him?
Let me throw another one in as well. We could have done a hell of a lot worse than getting Balogun in our 6 months contract just to fill in when we need to fill in.
And left centre back, crying out for him.
Certainly not any worse than what we've got.
Another guy cheated badly, but the club didn't get a chance to say bye to the fans. Still a Rangers man, and he was never world class. But I'll tell you what, he was a big honest defender, and sometimes no nonsense is what you need.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lyle Cameron and Finlay Curtis are 2 players that I'd really like to see starting these next 2 games against Bruges.
They've got to be the future.
I think these 2 players are exactly what we need these next 2 games. I mean, we're not really particularly favourites to win either, to be honest. I think these 2 players bring a lot of energy in the game and sort of quicken it up a little bit. I mean, we've seen, of course, as I said earlier on at the weekend, Finlay Curtis comes on and 2 minutes after he scores, and then another 2 minutes after he gets another.
Nearly gets it again.
Yeah, I mean, Lyle Cameron as well. Every time he comes on, he sort of gets himself stuck into it, and
the big thing about Curtis,
he gives it all, to be honest.
The big thing about Curtis's goal is he didn't stop the ball. He didn't. In Glaswegian, he didn't fanny about. He looked up and shot and put the ball in the pokey.
Exactly.
And that's what we were requiring at this point in the game.
He sort of reminds me a little bit, and I don't really know if you will see the same comparison as me, but Tom Lawrence, I mean, every time he sort of gets the ball and he sees a sort of slight opening, he hits the ball. And that's what Tom Lawrence was like, and I think we've been missing a player like that, especially since he left. I mean, and the player in a lot of the games, even Dundee game at home, and you can even say Motherwell away as well. We had a lot of chances to hit it from outside the box, but instead, as you said, fanny about with it at the edge of the box, try to find a clear opening, and we just can't. So, yeah, I really like the look of Finlay Curtis. I mean, there was talk of him maybe going out on loan, even to Raith Rovers or even Falkirk, or one of those sort of teams like that as well. I mean, same with Bailey Rice, there's links of him going out on loan. We've not really seen much of him.
I think that would be. I think the Bailey Rice one would be a good move, getting him out.
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
in a couple for a year.
Even Falkirk and even back to Motherwell on loan. I think that sort of experience.
The right club for Rice would be a good move.
Yeah, of course it would be. And I mean, he's a quality player. I mean, still obviously very young. I mean, we've seen glimpses of him, and he's proven that he can dictate a game. He's got potential to dictate a game anyways, and I think if he was to go to the likes of Motherwell or Falkirk and he was to sort of come up against a similar level opposition, say your Livingstons or Hibs, maybe not Hibs, but I mean Dundee United, Dundee's and what like that, he can dictate a game. So
right, so I think it's time to move on to the big game tomorrow night. Before I do that, she's want to check. I've not got the Gregory Peck's on. Is there any comments she's want to highlight up there for us?
Any comments there at all, gents?
I'll read a couple. Just Nicola Stubborn. I think that's a
Pseudonym.
to the ex-First Minister there. I'm not sure. Don't look like scoring. No Dessers and no Cherney. That's where our goals came from last year. Yeah, I mean that was about 40
Correct.
goals last season. Andrew McInnes, pretty straightforward, straight to the point. Start the manager. Brian Murphy, come out in Germany. Hi, Brian. Whoever
Hi, Brian.
sanctioned the signings need to go at the same time as this fraud. So that's what we're looking to. I think Simon made the point earlier about Patrick Stewart, and we agreed with him and Brian there. I'll say Karen because I've never heard that sentence before on Gers TV. This is the first time. Ready for it? Agree with Gordy.
As a first.
It took me 3.5 years. Thanks very much, Karen.
I'm guessing that's your sister, Karen.
No, because it's spelled with an E-N, not Y. So came back late for pre-season, overweight and visa issues. Glad he's gone. Need another striker. That's obviously Eagerman. Need another striker ASAP. So yeah, need another striker. I think basically the comments here echoing what we were saying in the show, guys, to a certain degree.
Fair, yeah.
So back in tomorrow.
Aye. Tomorrow night it's make or break basically in Europe, because as we've spoken about a million times, Champions League money and that the prestige of it is where you want to be in European football. We're probably not ready for it, if we're being honest. However, we could still possibly win and get through. I'm very doubtful we will. And I think if we are to do that, we'll have to be very solid at the back. And I think we'd need to score in the first half out of the game, the first goal.
Well, yeah.
And then, because if it went to 3-2 last week, I'm not forgiving the performance in the first half, but I'm just stating the bleeding obvious. The goal last week, if it had went to 3-2, then we would have had a much better chance than I thought we would have had after 20 minutes, let's just say. I think Rangers must score the first goal and they must score it early.
Yeah, I mean, if we score the first goal in the game, and even as you said in the first 20-30 minutes or so of the game, I mean, you're confident that we're going to go on and get another one and power on.
Yeah, we definitely need to score the first goal, because then obviously we're only one behind tying the leg, but defensively we're a shambles. You know, we have been every single game that he's managed. So we could score 4 goals, and I still think
that's my worry.
Go out, because they're definitely going to score. I feel like they'll definitely score at least 2. So we're going to need 4 goals to get to extra time. I don't see us doing that. I don't want to be too sort of negative about it, because you never know. But I just don't feel like he's the sort of manager that can adapt his playing style the way like Barry did last year. You see when we went to like Fenerbahce and got the result. Russell Martin's not doing that. Russell Martin's playing the way Russell Martin always plays, and there'll be plenty of mistakes at the back, plenty of chances conceded, and we'll go out.
They're also they're a pretty good team. You will get better teams if you qualified. You get a lot better teams in the Champions League. But let's not kid myself. I'm convinced last week they took the foot off the gas. They are a good team.
They did. Yeah, I need to echo what Jay's saying there. I mean, I actually said we would beat Bruce Jordan in the Ibrox, and I was dead positive. A week later, I really fear for our team tomorrow. I think that Russell Martin has lost a part of the dressing room. He is not a motivator at this stage of the season. He'll probably get time to improve it, but that's up to the board. The defence is all over the place, and I'll go one better. Not only is our defence a shambles, but our striking department is a shambles. We've scored 2. Our strikers have scored 2 goals all season between them, and one was a penalty, and one's obviously not playing. So I hope I'm proved wrong, and I'm going to just keep my point quite quick this time, because I don't want to be over negative, but I cannot see us getting. I hope I'm wrong, but I cannot see us winning over there tomorrow, and I'm sorry to say it.
I've got to go back to what you were saying when you said 2-0 to Rangers last week. I said 2-1, and the first thing I said, as soon as that third goal went in, I turned down and Graham, my mum's partner, who I went to the game with. I said, I feel like a right diddy for saying 2-1 Gers TV.
Well, 2-0. Try 2-0.
I know.
Well, the thing is, you make a prediction and you can only give your opinion as well. I think that what we need for tomorrow night is basically see the kind of balls up that we had last week. We need them to make a similar balls up because I'm not making
Yeah.
excuses for Martin, right? But that totally threw the game. That put the pressure on them. They were all over the place because what I find is see with this Rangers team when they lose a goal, it takes them about 20 minutes to recover.
Yeah.
It was a
I'll
sucker
just
punch.
make one. Sorry, just before I forget, because I always forget these things. Let me make one quick point, and I'll shut up for a bit.
And you go.
We struggled. We have struggled in the first half of games or the first half of the games for the last 2 years, right? I think everyone's seen it. Every game, every manager, Clement, Ferguson,
Yeah.
and now and now Russell Martin. But tomorrow night is the time when we need to go out in the first 30 minutes and get a goal. And with this Rangers team and the way we play, I just don't see it happening. And that's my point when I think we'll get beat tomorrow because
Aye.
tomorrow's the night we need to go out and have a strong first half, but we just don't seem to do it, and by then it'll be too late.
I'm going to be honest, right? And I'm not trying to say I think Barry Ferguson should have stayed on permanently, but I think Barry Ferguson got to be sitting at home thinking, what else did I need to do to get the permanent Rangers job? If Russell Martin's the right man for the job, supposedly, I mean, what else has Barry Ferguson got to do? I mean, he came in. I mean, you can't really say he steadied the ship, but got us a couple of solid results. I mean, certainly didn't do as much harm. So, I mean, as I said, it was a manager that you were at meant obviously to play for the club, of course, being the captain for years.
I don't think my own opinion on it is, and I really like Barry. I don't think he was ever on. I don't think they gave him a job. I don't think it would have mattered what he done. I think the board had just kind of used him. Somebody offered you that job with your Rangers background credentials. You're not going to say no to it, and they probably kind of used him in a way. But he would, if he could go back in time, I'm sure Barry would do it again. We need to look to the future. They can still qualify tomorrow night. It's going to be really, really hard. But maybe, just maybe, we can get a wee bit of luck because the Belgians did get a bit of luck at Ibrox with that first goal.
I mean, their 3 goals were great. I mean, obviously the first goal goes without saying. It's poor, very, very schoolboy errors. Then there's a bit of a scrap in the box for the second goal. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting confused between the second and the third goal, but the other goal, I mean, you've got to close the guy down at the edge of the box. So I don't think there were 3 good goals. I mean, the Bruges manager did obviously come out and say that he knew the spaces to exploit within the Rangers team, and so did Stephen Robinson there at the weekend as well.
And so did Stephen Presley.
Stephen Presley, of course.
So did Middlesbrough.
And Motherwell, and Middlesbrough, and Bruges,
And Motherwell.
and everyone else.
But apart from that,
And Panathinaikos twice.
oh, aye, true. Aye.
But yeah, Bruges aren't necessarily a great team. Obviously,
It's not even bad. It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible.
They're a step up from Panathinaikos and Victoria Pilsen, but they're not totally great. I think we really, really could have gotten a result against them at Ibrox if it just wasn't for such schoolboy errors.
Well, we were unlucky not to get the 3-2 though.
Yeah, of course.
The first 30 minutes totally blew us.
Oh, of course.
And it was unprofessionalism that caused that. I'm just hoping tomorrow night it might happen to them and see how they react. We need a bit of luck this time.
Did they go 2-0 down against Salzburg at home in the last leg?
Something like that happened, aye.
They still won the tie, right enough.
They won I think they came back in the second half and won at 3-2, if I'm not mistaken. But
that's right, aye.
Still, the potential is for them to have a bad start in games like this. So that's what I think we need to hope for and try and capitalise on it. I'm hoping that they are going to underestimate us because at the end of the game last week, they were celebrating with their fans, thinking it was all won. If they go in with that attitude and we get an early goal, things can change. So that I'm holding on to that glimmer of hope. Yeah. Although this season has just been so disappointing so far that I feel like as soon as 10 minutes of that game, our hope is just going to be completely gone. But I'm still holding on to that for the next 24 hours.
And if you look at the support, see some of the supporters so far, they've spent over a few £1,000 already just watching these ties and following Rangers in Europe and at home. They at least deserve one thing, and that is 100% attitude and fight. That's one thing they do deserve.
The attitude, I don't think we're going to get much better from Russell Martin. I mean, he came out and said that it's supposedly not the end of the world. I mean, if we lose on Sunday, we go 9 points behind him. I mean, it certainly is the end of the world, I would say. Anyways, I mean, if we're out the Champions League and we're 9 points behind in the league, then it's not far off the end of the world anyways for us. So
I mean, a lot can change in football because if they were to get the 2 results coming up, could change it both ways for him.
Of course it can, but
I'm also convinced that the Americans might not really be caring. No, so much caring. I don't think that the Americans have got the same attitude as the British kind owners would be. They might just be sitting back going, well, we'll see at the end of the season, we just see it out.
I know. I mean, that's all well and good, but you still got to question the attitude from Russell Martin coming out and saying it's
Oh, I agree.
the world when he knows how passionate their support is.
Aye, but that's us questioning it, but I mean, as Americans might not have the same attitude.
Of course, I think the Americans will be. I think the 49ers will be a bit scared to sack him now. I think that just makes them look bad if anything. So
he's got 2 games to save his reputation.
They spent 3 or 4 months trying to find a manager, and this is what you get.
Aye.
I mean, this just makes them look bad. I think it makes them look.
And if he could pull this out of the bag and get 2 results in the next week, then he's got a good argument to say, I've told you it will be better. I don't see it, but I'm just trying to look at the different angles on it.
I mean, you've got to be positive. I mean, nobody's came on here to be negative and be pessimistic. I mean, but I'm the same as you. I don't necessarily see us winning both games. I think if we win the other, we'll lose the other. But in fact, actually probably see us losing both right enough. But
I think we just need to come out of tomorrow, to be honest, with confidence still intact. So as much confident as possible. If we go and get battered 4-5 tomorrow, heading into that Old Firm, that's going to be a disaster, in my opinion, for the confidence of the group.
The other thing I would say is we really need the money. Sorry for interrupting you there, but we really need the money. But we've already spoken about this. That team just now are not a Champions League team, if we're being 100% honest. We're nowhere near it. But we need the money. That's the only reason I want us to qualify. But we would be a Europa Cup team at the very best this season.
Gents, I'm going to ask you a wee quick question, right? If you had to choose one or the other, would you rather win tomorrow night or would you rather win on Sunday? For me, I'd rather win on Sunday. But what
tomorrow night? Too much money in it. The club needs the money. If we want to think of the future, and we want the financial fair play's got to come in to keep getting stronger and stronger, you have to get in that Champions League because it's £40 million at stake. It would be a real kick in the balls losing at the weekend. But if I had to pick one, I would say for the club's point of view, it would have to be the Champions League if we could qualify.
I mean, financially, of course, it's going to be the Champions League, but I think at the end of the day, the least your bread and butter. For me, whoever wins the first Old Firm wins the league for me. I mean, if we win, we're like 3 points behind them. As much as I don't think we should be that much behind them at all, I mean, that's not much at all. We can definitely overcome that. But what do you guys think, Gordon?
If I'm not mistaken, everyone keeps saying 40 million at stake, but 40 million isn't the guaranteed sum that you get. I think it's 50 million if you go through, and then it's based on how many wins you get. So if you were to get through the Champions League and then not get any wins, I don't think you get 40 million.
No, that's a good point.
No, I'll just come in there. I'll just come in there because there was a very good article on it in the Times the other day, and it did actually tell you how much each team gets, and it is even if you qualify. So even if Rangers finished, and I think there's 32 teams in it, if Rangers got through to the Champions League and finished in 32nd place, they would still make more money than the team that finishes first in the Europa League.
Yeah,
so that's massive. That is
but
massive.
The Europa League, I think if you finish first in the Europa League, you only get like 15 million. I think when we got to the final in 2022, I think our total prize pot would have been like 15 million for winning the Europa League, which is the equivalent to just getting into the. So I can understand. Like obviously financially it's much better, but I don't think it's quite the levels that is always reported at.
I honestly think it is because I'm sure they explained it so well. I'll send the article after the show because they explained it so well.
That's my answer anyway. Financially, I think with financially the game tomorrow night's a bigger game. I think that's more important for the club just now.
But I genuinely think though, if it comes down to, would you rather get into the Champions League group stage? Or would you rather win the league? I think it goes beyond. We'd rather win at the weekend because if we lose at the weekend, we're 9 points behind. That's it, done. We win at the weekend and we're 3 points behind, and then you go into the international break where you can regroup. You're starting again, 3 points behind. Let's go. But if you're 9 points behind,
it's ifs and buts. Because the other thing I was thinking at the weekend, because I done a lot of drinking, so I was doing a lot of thinking.
Surprise.
See if he get 2 draws, Dundee and Motherwell. See if he'd have lost one of the games and won one. I don't think the fans would be so angry. It was the manner and what we didn't have to kill these 2 teams off, and it was the fact that we didn't look at any point like really winning any 2 of them. But if we'd have won one of them, if for example they'd get beat with Motherwell and then Motherwell and then beat Dundee or something like that, you would have said, right, he's at least we've got a win under our belt and we've got progression happening. I just think that the biggest disappointment with the fans now is we can't see any light at the end of the tunnel with the football.
No.
Just want some comments? Just a couple of
Aye,
comments.
please.
Dan?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So Robert Howitt is saying they need to shout that before they start and not at half time. So that's the point we're making about the slow
Great point.
starts. Uh,
Who's going to do the shouting?
Brian Moore. Brian Moore, simple, straightforward. He says 3-0 Rangers. I'm assuming it's 3-0 Rangers anyway. He just says 3-0. I'm assuming it's Rangers.
Aye.
Alex Kelly.
I hope so.
So we're talking about Barry Ferguson. Alex Kelly, who's reminding us that Barry Ferguson, record as Rangers manager, played
wasn't
12,
good.
won 4, won 4, drew 4, and lost 4. Scored 21, conceded 20, won 0 games for 5 at Ibrox. And a couple of comments just about the Celtic game tonight. We don't want to talk about them, but it has went the extra time, which means that they have to play more football. Means they're going
What,
to
just
be
now?
further delayed getting back.
Sorry, say that again, Gordy. Their game's on extra time now, aye?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right.
So they've been taking extra time. So that's another
Aye.
30 minutes off the less plus their travel time. So that could
Good
do
point.
me favour for Sunday. And Russell Martin needs to get out our dressing room.
Aye.
Russell Martin really needs to get out. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Alex. I don't want to misquote you there. So Russell Martin says, sorry, that's not what he says. What he actually says was he needs to gut out our dressing room.
Right.
So
Well, that's
the
what
point
he's
he's making.
Aye. One Merkin in there, I don't know what
And,
that says.
Yeah, just financially for the Champions League. So Nicola is saying financially, Champions League's better. It is heartbreaking to get beat at the Old Firm game. However, Champions League get decent money. We will still go out the next round if we did go through. So we need the league. So kind of making the point there that you
And just back to
And
what I was saying earlier,
I'm
if we
just
could do what almost impossible now and get the result tomorrow night and Celtic get beat tonight, which I still don't think will happen. But if that happened, then I would start to feel a bit more confident again coming up to the Old Firm game and to get the win.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we just like needing a new striker. Like we still need a striker. And
100%, aye.
yeah.
It's bad. It is kind of poor though from the directors and the Peter Farewell and Patrick Stewart that we're going to probably this week is make or break not only for Russell Martin but for Rangers this season in my opinion. And we're going in with a fragmented squad, fragmented dressing room it seems, and the fact we've got one fit striker who's not exactly setting the world records of scoring goals, and basically going in with a big week without a recognised goal scorer who's fit isn't good.
So,
and
that's on
the treatment.
So on that note, let's get the predictions in.
Right,
4-0 Rangers. 3-0 hat trick. No.
I think that's the most prediction I've ever given him.
The only slight thing in our favour tomorrow night, and it's a long shot, is that there's no away goals rules. So doesn't matter they score as long as we win 2-0, it's extra time rather than having to score 3. So no, I'm sorry. I will change my mind after a beer tomorrow and say 5-0 Rangers, but at the moment I'm going to go just 2-0 Bruges. I can't.
Right, I'm going to give my prediction. I've been thinking this for all day today, and I don't know why. There's no logic whatsoever in it. I think Rangers will probably win the tie 2-1. That's what I think. I think they'll probably score in the last 10 minutes, the killer goal basically. But I'm quite confident of Rangers somehow in Europe getting a result tomorrow night.
I'll go 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-0 Rangers, go into extra time, another 2 goals, 3-1, goes into penalties, Rangers winning penalties.
I'll take that.
I'll take anything. I'll take anything as long as we go through.
It's going to be hard. Guys, I'm wary of the time. Is there any more you want to comment on the night? Because we're trying to keep it at 45 minutes for the shows.
Well, I mean, it's sort of dragging on a wee bit. We could talk, probably talk a wee couple of minutes about Bojan Miovski and the links about him joining, maybe even on a loan deal, loan to buy possibly from Girona. Of course, played for Aberdeen for a few years as well. So.
My opinion on that, I don't like loan deals, but that's a no-brainer. If we can get that boy Ibrox, he'd fit in.
I think if it was a loan with an option to buy, I don't think it would be necessarily too expensive. I think we'd probably
that would be a good shout.
About 4.5-5 million probably, because Aberdeen sold him for 7 million. He's went to Girona and he's not really done much, to be honest. I don't think Girona are looking to get much of a profit on him, to be honest.
He would settle right into Scottish football and he can score goals.
Wouldn't be any settlement needed, to be honest. He's came here and he's proven that he can score goals, and not only is he a finisher as well, he's very agile as well. For being quite tall, he's very agile and good on the ball.
I also think there is a lot more in it. I think there's a really good chance we'll get him.
I think so as well. I think it will happen.
I think it'll happen. I don't like the fact that it's another loan, but at the minute I'll take anyone because we've had Tello Asgard playing number 9 at the weekend.
Yep.
I don't
That
wanna see
can't happen again.
Can't happen again.
can't happen. And
Danilo's clearly not good enough. I actually think Dest is going to be sold before the end of the transfer window. I heard some rumours about a 3.5 million bid from Hellas Verona. Not sure how true that is, but I think he'll be away.
I think Russell Martin's alluded to the fact that he doesn't see Dessers in his future, to be honest, because he spoke about Dessers in the press conference just after the St Mirren game and said that Dessers hasn't asked to leave, but they have had conversations over his future. So I don't think Dessers has asked to leave. Obviously, Russell Martin's saying that he hasn't asked. So, but I don't think that Russell Martin sees him necessarily in his plans. But I do think it's a no-brainer if we get the chance to bring in even if it is a loan to buy, whatever. I think it's a no-brainer because it's one of those players that doesn't need any time settling in. He knows the league, and as I said, he's got plenty of quality about him, and he's not old either. He's still quite young.
Gordy?
I think it's a no-brainer. I think what we've all said, it's hard to. I'm not going to disagree with any of that because you're all right. And yeah, he knows the SPL inside out. He scored against every club in the league, including us, unfortunately. And if you brought him in, he could actually even start on Sunday as well because he would hopefully be fit.
Definitely.
If he's fit, then he's ready. Then he can hit the ground running. So he knows what it's like to score against Celtic. I've seen him score a couple of good goals against Celtic, and he could, as you say, knows the SPL inside out. So if he's available and affordable, no brainer.
I think if we're going to see the signing happen, it will probably happen. Maybe not the Thursday, but probably the Friday.
Yeah. It's one of the ones. It could be a feel-good factor move to get the fans back on side because you know how we've all felt. Anyway, guys, it's been a good show. Tomorrow night we might be able to do something. We'll have a wee chat about that later if we can maybe come on tomorrow night after the game. But wherever you are, enjoy the match. Thanks for your contributions tonight. Thanks to everybody that's commented and liked or shared and been part of it. And win, lose or draw,
We are
we are the people.
People.